What's up everybody, Renfail here, and we're back with another guide. Today, sinking our teeth into the fighter class. Now this Ultimate Beginner's Guide to the Fighter is from a question that Lord Nicholas asked over on YouTube. I was going to do this guide anyway, but his question was perfect to do this guide around. So basically he was asking, is it possible to make a Psyker build who uses tank weapons? Can I use like a sword and a pistol and still have tank stuff and Psyker abilities? Is it possible? And I went, yeah, because Heinrich is literally that. So we're going to take a look at the fighter class today and how you can do like the Heinrich's build. You can also go the Abelard build. There's a lot of different ways that you could spec your tank. And we're going to be taking a look at those in-game as well with a little bit of combat at the end of the video. So if you want to skip around, you can just use the chapters below. But if you've watched one of my videos before, you know the routine. But if you're new here, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you never miss an update. Daily streams at 5:30 a.m. and 8 p.m. Central Time. We're multi-streaming on YouTube and Twitch, although YouTube is where all the guides come out, movie reviews, and everything else we do. So check out both places. Don't forget the Discord. Let's go ahead and dive into the fighter. Now, technically, any of these classes, or the doctrines as they call them, your base classes, any of these, the fighter, leader, adept, or marksman, can be spec'd a variety of different ways. I would say the most restrictive is the leader, but the fighter in particular, I think, is one of the most versatile because you really can spec them a lot of different ways. Now, for what Lord Nicholas was specifically asking about being able to be like, have a fighter abilities and also be able to use some Psyker abilities, I would not recommend going the adept route, and I would not recommend starting with the Psyker and then working backwards from there to try to get tank abilities, although you could do it that way. The way he was explaining it in his comment was more like, I want to be able to be in the thick of it with a sword and a pistol and still have some Psyker abilities. That's going to be more suited to the fighter in and of themselves, because they're going to get some abilities right out of the gate that make them more survivable, and being able to pick up those Psyker abilities as bonuses that will add on top to the layers that they have with the fighter. So by starting a fighter, you're immediately going to get your keystone ability of charge and the ultimate ability of daring breach. That is a huge thing. Daring breach is a big deal. You're definitely going to want that because it allows you to freely move around the battlefield. It immediately restores all your AP and your AP and MP, and you gain additional movement bonuses, points bonus until the end of your turn, and you don't lose movement points after performing attacks. So in a traditional scenario, you'll move, then you'll attack, and then you're done. Well, this allows you to keep going and do 3, 4, 5 attacks in a row depending on your bonuses and stuff, and no limit on melee weapon attacks, right? So you can just run around the battlefield and wail on stuff, and then when you're done, follow it up with some Psyker abilities. And you're going to get, basically remembering that your job is to primarily be a melee character. You can, however, have a sword in one hand and a pistol in the other, and get that look that you're going for with the backup Psyker abilities. Now, all your skills and everything else are going to be determined by you as you level up through your doctrine. But some of this stuff is also determined by your homeworld bonuses. Like, there's some features that you get as a result of your homeworld, so that factors in, as do the origins. So if you're looking at like the Biomancer, you'll start off with Sanctioned Psyker, Biomancy, Psi Rating. If you start off as Commander, you're going to start off with Combined Arms and all these other things. So there are skills that you have to think about. They're going to come with your origin and your homeworld. So when you're creating your character, if you're looking to have this be more than just a tank, or you want it to be more than just an adept, you want it to be the blend, this is where you're going to look at the homeworld abilities and the origin abilities to see what they get you, and if they can get you close to what you're wanting in terms of that blend of abilities. Now, because I want to show you Heinrich's, because Heinrich is exactly what Lord Nicholas is suggesting. So we're actually going to go take a look at what he looks like in game, so you can see him in action. Let's go ahead and load my most recent save here, and we can take a look at Heinrich's. And we're going to go ahead and trigger a combat encounter here as well, so you can see the difference between Abelard and Heinrich's, because they are set up in two different ways, two different types of fighters. So we're going to press any key to continue. Alright, now right out of the gate, Abelard, I've got him spec'd straight down the pipe as a melee badass. He is using a sword in one hand and a pistol in the other. So you can see here, he gets the option of using either the chainsword or the blaster, depending on the situation. Heinrichs also has a sword and a pistol, and he can also do either or. By the way, I love this force sword. It's really cool. I love the slight purple effect to it. Now, where things really start to get crazy, though, is if you notice that Abelard down here is spec'd more towards tanking, so his abilities are more rely upon, you know, brace for impact, sworn enemy, and taunting scream to pull aggro onto him. Heinrichs is spec'd completely different, and that's because his origin and his homeworld options gave him some abilities for his psychic side, and as a result he has some biomancy with him. So he's essentially a fighter with biomancy as a backup. So he has this assail, which allows him to strike his targets with a telekinetic strike and potentially throw them to the ground. He also has telekinetic shield, which allows him to shield himself or another target, and it's against ranged attacks. Then he has iron arm, which allows him to buff either himself or another character to increase their strength and toughness. And then enfeeble, which weakens everybody in the air. Now these are biomancy abilities. So if you wanted divination abilities, you would need to pick that when you're creating your character in the origins section, where you choose between sanctioned psyker, biomancy, or sanctioned psyker divination. That's where you would choose that. So we can go into the doctrines here. You can actually see around the wheel how he has spec'd, how Heinrichs is spec'd compared to, say, Abelard, who is spec'd differently. He's taken more melee, more toughness abilities, things of that nature, whereas Heinrichs, so, you know, Abelard has 60 athletics as an example. Heinrichs only has 40. You know what I mean? There's just some difference between these two at their core. Now, because they're both fighters, they get that charge ability as part of their keystone. But from there, you know, it's going around and saying, okay, every time there was this option to choose, you know, I'm going to go with the enfeeble, and then I'm going to go with the athletics. Now, if I can go around here, whenever it's time for you to choose another, what are they called? The talents. We can go down here, and you can see, by the way, his sanctioned psyker biomancy option pops up here. That's because that's one of his origin backgrounds. So when you're going through the talents here, this is where at the very beginning are going to be all the ones that give you thumbs up. And a lot of people don't realize that if you just keep scrolling down, you get access to all sorts of stuff, sanctioned biomancy stuff. So biophysical distortion. So this is where you're going to find your biomancy abilities as you level up your fighter. So this allows you to be primarily a fighter who's using your sword and pistol, and then on the back end of that, coming in here and going, okay, I want to take these different psyker abilities based on my origin, and like strange vitality, or the biophysical distortion, adrenaline surge, then you get your psi rating and everything else. So there are a lot of different ways, and you can also come in here and choose all of your weapons. So you could also choose to come in and create like an adept who also has melee abilities if you wanted that. I think it's better to stick to the former as opposed to the latter, but it really is up to you how you want to spec your character. So without further ado, that's kind of a quick glance at the build that you were asking about, Lord Nicholas, that because it literally is the Heinrichs build, because he's a fighter with psychic abilities. Now, to see what this looks like in real time, let's go ahead and start this combat encounter just so we can see the difference between these two. And I'm going to skip the dialogue here because I'm not interested in story right now. We just want to show the alright, so we have now gotten ourselves into a combat scenario. I'm going to put my 2 tanks up front. I'm going to drop everybody else back to the back, and we're going to take a look at how this unfolds from here on out. And Pascal's there, which means I need it here to the front. We'll start the battle. Alright, so she gets to go first. I'm going to keep this simple.
Doubt is for the weak.
It's really just want to show the fighters. But it's always good to see a full combat scenario in play. Now, momentum is the big thing here, so when we get to it, this is where you'll really see the difference between Heinrichs and Abelard in the terms of two different types of tanks. So I'm going to move Pascal up here. I could do an AoE. Got both of them. Very nice, sir. Alright, he's going to run. I might take him out before my fighters even get a chance to do anything. Alright. I'm going to send Abelard one way, and we'll have Heinrichs go the other way. So you'll notice on my abilities bar,
follow my lead.
When I get up in here, I could choose to attack this guy with melee, or I could hit this guy with a pistol blast, right? Because I've got, again, pistol in one hand, sword in the other, but I don't have any psyker abilities with this particular character.
Indeed.
We're going to take him out. Now I've got momentum, and I could trigger it here to show you what that looks like, but what I want to do is I actually want to go to Heinrichs real quick, because I wanted to show what it looks like when he has the turn. Alright, so I still have Heroic Breach available. So if I were to do this normally, I would say run up to this guy. Okay. I would smack him.
But of course, Lord Captain.
I would then say put a shield on Abelard. Does this take any action points to use? No. So then I'm going to go ahead and put Iron Armor myself.
I won't object to it.
These are all Psyker abilities. Now, I'm out of points, but I have enough momentum to do Daring Breach. So now we're going to trigger
I feel the power surging.
Daring Breach, and now I've got access to more abilities again, and more importantly, movement points. So if I wanted to run over here, I could, like this. Then I could hit him with an Enfeeble. Also myself. How about a
Let's see to it.
the Assail, which knocks him down to his feet, and now let's just hit him once for good luck. So Heinrichs is the perfect example of a character who can do a lot of different things, and I can still move because I have that breach on me. So we're gonna run over here. Now I don't have any more attacks left, so we're gonna undo here, and he's gonna run away. I got an attack of opportunity. I took him out. So I could have done the Heroic Breach with Abelard, but Abelard doesn't have the full range of psychic abilities that Heinrich does, which allows him to do the debuffs. And again, if you wanted something a little more classic, let me skip to her real quick. Not Pascal. Here's a good example. So Idira is spec'd as a divination. So she has Psychic Shriek, and quick commercial break, everyone, to celebrate and give thanks to all of these amazing people who keep me on the air full time. Really appreciate the support. All you got to do is join as a member. You get access to private videos. You can also do super thanks on any upload, or super chats and stickers on any live stream or premiere you see. And beyond that, don't forget we're multi-streaming over on Twitch now, so you can support over there as well. Thanks so much to everybody. Let's get back to the video at hand. You know, study enemies, expose weakness. So she went full adept divination, so she's not a fighter. So she has the study enemies, and because that's the base ability for the adepts. Now that's useful, but the thing of it is, like, if you want that maneuverability and the sort of tanky guy who uses sword in one hand, pistol in the other with psychic abilities, you're really going to want to go for your fighter as your base. Otherwise, you're not going to get as much movement and survivability. That being said, if you wanted like the Psychic Shriek and these types of abilities, you would want to go the divination route as opposed to the biomancy route. Oh, is he out of my line of sight? Hang on, where am I looking? What's the other side?
Never wavered in the face of adversity. Already done.
Well, I was hoping to finish up the round here, but here's Abelard to save the day.
I took care of this one.
So there you have it, everybody. That is a quick look at what the fighters look like in action and the difference between having a fighter who's spec'd more towards melee and a fighter who's spec'd as a melee slash psyker doing some magical abilities on the side. It just depends on if you want to do the biomancy option, which is buffs and debuffs, as opposed to, you know, direct abilities that are affecting the mob in terms of damage. So there's lots of ways you could spec. You just got to go around when you're going into the doctrines and you're going around the wheel. That's the most important thing. Let me go back to Heinrich's real quick because I'm the wrong character. Is as you go through and pick your talents, just pick the ones that you think you want that are going to give you the things that you want. You don't have to go with the ones that are thumbs up, although those are the recommended ones. You can absolutely level up what you want. And then you'll also get your core abilities through here, depending on what you want. More biomancy stuff as you go around the table. You get Invigorate, Metabolic Overcharge, Regeneration, Warp Speed. That's on the abilities. So there's talents and abilities. Keep that in mind. Skills are, you know, different, but talents and abilities are the big ones that you want to watch out for, because those are the ones that are going to directly give you the things that enhance your build the way you're asking about, Lord Nicholas. So in any case, that's sort of an ultimate beginner's guide to the fighter class in Warhammer 40K Rogue Trader, in the sense that you don't have to take it right up the gut and have it be a tank, although you can. Abelard is absolutely spec'd as that up front, in your face tank who does all the, you know, provoke abilities and hunker down and, you know, buff up and not take the hits, you know, be able to you know, soak damage. As opposed to Heinrich's, who's more about moving around the battlefield and doing debuffs to the enemy. And you can spec yours however you wanted to. There's lots of versatility in the fighter class. So without further ado, that's it, everybody. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you did, and my repetitive word use, like, subscribe, hit the bell icon so you never miss an update. Daily streams at 5:30 a.m. and 8 p.m. Central, playing lots of different games, not just Rogue Trader, so check out all the playlists. But also check out multi-streaming, because we're doing it on Twitch as well as here on YouTube, and all the guides happen here on this channel, and of course the Discord. That's it. I got nothing else, everybody. I'm gonna get back to playing. So until then, stay safe. Happy gaming.